Two people are dead after Storm Isha lashed the UK, leaving tens of thousands of homes without power. Gusts of up to 99 miles per hour caused widespread damage in many parts of the country, with trees and power lines brought down. There was major travel disruption, with some air passengers stranded in unexpected destinations.
We were told we were being brought back to Manchester. That was quickly updated that we were going to the East Midlands, and we landed in Paris.
Hello, good evening. Storm Isha has wreaked havoc across the UK, leaving two people dead in Scotland and Northern Ireland, while thousands of homes are still without power. There were gusts of up to 99 miles per hour, disrupting the journeys of many road, rail and air travellers. Storm Isha has now left the UK, but another storm, Jocelyn, is on the way. Well, we'll be hearing about Isha's impact on different parts of the country from our reporters in North Lanarkshire and in Cumbria. But first, let's get the latest from Belfast. Sarah Gervin has this report.
Storm Isha battered Northern Ireland with winds reaching 80 miles per hour, bringing tragic consequences. A motorist in his 60s died after his vehicle collided with a fallen tree in Limavady, County Londonderry. This evening, 17,000 people in Northern Ireland are still without electricity. At the peak of the storm, 53,000 homes had no power. In the Republic of Ireland, 155,000 remain without electricity. For some, the outage was much more than an inconvenience.
As a disabled person, I rely on electricity to live. It's life-saving and life-maintaining. I lost power last night just when I was getting into bed at about 11:30. I didn't come back on today until about 1 o'clock. And that obviously puts my life at risk, as well as millions of other disabled people across the United Kingdom.
Michaela was able to rely on her generator, but says other disabled people may not be as lucky.
We can put man on the moon. Why can we not ensure that disabled people have access to power to keep them alive?
Strong winds brought down trees across Northern Ireland. There have been more than 1,000 reports of incidents like this one, where trees hit power lines and a car here in County Down. As the clean-up operation continues, there are warnings it may be a few days until power is fully restored. Sarah Gervin, BBC News, Belfast.
There was travel disruption across the country. All trains were cancelled from 7 o'clock last night. Services were gradually restarted around lunchtime. But ScotRail said trains will be cancelled again from tomorrow evening due to more bad weather.
Flight was cancelled, so then booked this. This is now delayed as well, so who knows when we'll get there.
My wife's actually going down for an operation, so it's going to be a bit of a hassle for us.
A bus this morning, that was delayed, and then this is delayed.
Many woke up this morning to the damage caused by Storm Isha, including the drivers of these cars in Linlithgow. An 84-year-old man died in Grangemouth after the car he was a passenger in hit a fallen tree.
Here in North Lanarkshire, there were gusts of 84 miles per hour. Today, conditions are still challenging.
And now for the clear-up. The roof was ripped off this summer house in Fife.
It's a big, beautiful cabin, but it's no longer there.
Thousands of people have been without power, but repairs are being carried out and supplies are being restored. Alexandra Mackenzie, BBC News.
The wind may have grabbed the headlines, but plenty of water came with it too. In North Yorkshire, the River Ure burst its banks in Massam. It rarely gets this bad. A few miles further north, we were escorted to the summit of the closed A66, what normally should be a busy cross-country route linking the A1 and the M6.
It's lunchtime now and the worst of the weather has passed, but it's still blowing a gale up here on the top of the Pennines. This lorry's still rocking in the wind, and this one has several vehicles that got blown over here last night.
It took until early afternoon for the damaged lorries to be safely recovered and for the road to reopen. Head west, and this was the eerie sound of the flood warning siren in Appleby last night. Thankfully, the water peaked without severe flooding, but the electricity didn't come back on until this afternoon.
We're feeling lucky really that we haven't been flooded, you know, and actually I think although the road flooded down there, I don't think it's got into any houses or anything, so I think we all just think ourselves lucky really because of that.
Elsewhere, a driver in Belton in Lincolnshire had a lucky escape when a roof was blown onto a road. Across large parts of northern England, rivers are once again very high. With another storm expected, flood defences will be tested in the coming days. Danny Savage, BBC News, Cumbria.
So, as we heard, Storm Isha has disrupted journeys for many travellers. Scores of flights were cancelled, delayed or diverted, with some passengers ending up stranded in unexpected places. Well, Nick Eardley from BBC Verify has more details. Nick.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, lots of disruption yesterday that we've been hearing about, but it would have been particularly noticeable if you were a nervous flyer last night. There are over 100 planes that tried to land somewhere and had to abort, what's known in the aviation industry as a go-around. Many more flights were diverted before they got to their destination. This plane was trying to land in Heathrow. As you can see, it wasn't successful, pretty bumpy. Let me show you another one. This was Gatwick. You can see how bumpy the landing here was. This plane had got to the right city, London, but it was at the wrong airport. Plenty of other people ended up hundreds of miles from where they wanted to be. We've spent the day speaking to passengers and looking at open source flight data like the website Flight Radar. Here are some examples from last night. This flight was supposed to go from Seville in the south of Spain up to Edinburgh. It didn't. It ended up having to be diverted to Cologne, 500 miles away. Here's another one. This flight was supposed to go from Gran Canaria down here up to Belfast. Again, didn't happen. Ended up 540 miles away in Paris. Not ideal. And finally, what should have been a pretty standard flight from Manchester to Dublin didn't land either. Also ended up going all the way to Paris. So why did so many people end up so far from their destinations? Part of the problem last night was just how widespread the disruption was. There were lots of airports where it became impossible to land. This was Dublin last night. Then the airports where you could land filled up quickly, leaving no space for other emergency landings. Hence people ending up so far away from where they were supposed to be. Here are a few flyers who contacted the BBC with their stories of Storm Isha.
Hi, I'm Amy, this is Mandy and Bob. We are currently stuck in Geneva, Switzerland, have been for an extra 24 hours due to Storm Isha. We're back today to hopefully get our return flight to Birmingham Airport. Yesterday was a little bit chaotic. I don't know how you found it with the airport.
Absolute nightmare, to be honest.
Hi, I'm Phil. I'm a Kendal Town fan. We're trapped here on the Isle of Man. We're in a pub in the Isle of Man at the moment. But some of our fans can't leave the island until till Thursday at the earliest. So here we all are. Here's a few of us at the moment. There we go. There's a few of us here.
Yesterday I was due to fly from Manchester back to Dublin. We flew over Dublin, we made an attempt to land, and soon we were back up in the clouds and we were told we were being brought back to Manchester. That was quickly updated that we were going to the East Midlands, and we landed in Paris. There was a lot of, "Are you kidding me? Oh my God," yells. People, "How am I going to get home?" And as the crew announced, "Welcome you to Dublin." The cheers went up as if we had just scored the winning goal in the World Cup. It was incredible. The whole place was just cheering.
Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, there is another storm following hard on the heels of Isha. It has been named Storm Jocelyn. It's due to hit the UK and Ireland tomorrow night, bringing strong winds into Wednesday morning. Well, Matt Taylor from the BBC Weather Centre is with me now. So, Matt, Jocelyn is going to be, what, the 10th named storm of the season. Why have we had so many storms in such quick succession?
Yeah, it certainly has been an incredibly stormy season. In fact, it's shaping up to be our stormiest spell since we started naming storms back in 2015. But each season is different from the one before. Last year, we didn't have any through the entirety of autumn, winter and spring. So there's no definite overriding aspect to it. But what we have seen are two different weather patterns. Over Christmas, of course, we saw all the storms that produced the flooding. That was because we had high pressure sitting across parts of Scandinavia and across Greenland, bringing some intense cold weather there, but actually stranding areas of low pressure with us. So we saw one area of low pressure after another just sit across the UK. But this time, what we've got is what's happening in the US driving things. There's been some intense cold air. Temperatures dropping down even as far south as Kentucky to around -29 by night. That cold air has been clashing with warm air across the mid-Atlantic, firing up a particularly lively jet stream, and it's that which has been picking up areas of low pressure, developing them further and sending them our way. And this is why we're seeing our next named storm, Storm Jocelyn, set to push its way in tomorrow.
Yeah, and you'll be back with the full forecast later on in the programme. Thank you, Matt Taylor. News of the next storm coming our way.
Indeed, not far away this time. Tomorrow it'll be with us, Ben. But yes, if you're with us earlier, I mentioned the contrasts in North America are driving things. Arctic air has been all the way south to Florida, and it's here where we've seen actually temperatures in the morning sub-zero. But it's those temperature contrasts to the south of Florida which has been really firing up particularly strong and active jet stream. It's those which develop areas of low pressure, ping them our way, and this is the next one, Storm Jocelyn, which moves in through tomorrow. Now, there's some good news with this. Compared to Isha, won't be quite as potent. The impact's not as widespread. And it's a bit of a two-pronged storm because to begin with Tuesday daytime, it's going to be the rain which could cause the impacts in the west with the risk of flooding. And then Tuesday night when those winds really ramp up.